Find just one thing to focus on. Fireworks explosion, and it's time for dessert.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to a Tuesday. It is June 23rd, 2020, day 282 of Gotta Get on Ellen. Fireworks. They say the sale of fireworks is up 400% in certain areas, and the complaints are just coming in one after another. Welcome to my world, people. Everybody's always like, how can you not like fireworks? How can you not like fireworks? Well, you're all finding out now, aren't you? Yeah, I used to love fireworks, and now when I hear them, I'm like, oh. You know, I live in a resort area, and, it is illegal in New Jersey still to set off most fireworks. They did approve certain ones a couple of years back, but the ones that we see that are being shot up in the sky, like true fireworks, they are still illegal. However, my neighborhood has been setting them off for years, and so many people do it. I don't even think they try to police it at this point because there's just so many people. And, with fireworks, it's one of those things, I could call the police on my neighbor, which I won't. My neighbors wouldn't do it unless it was 4th of July. 4th of July is okay. We're all ready for it then. We're looking forward to it. But every random Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday in the summer is just a little too much. Unless it's like a planned event. Like when I used to stay in Wildwood, every Friday they would have fireworks over the boardwalk. It was great. I used to be able to sit on my deck and just watch them. A lot of fireworks shows are being canceled. We have a fireworks show here in Beach Haven every year. I got a notice in the email the other day. It's been canceled for this year. So this is another reason why people are buying up all the fireworks and setting them off themselves. A lot of complaints coming in about people being woken up, kids being woken up. The dogs are petrified. It's an issue when it happens all the time. So I feel you. This is my reality all summer long. That's why even if it is a nice night, we still can't sleep with the windows open. We have to literally sleep with the air conditioning on from June until September. And even then, there's still people that come down and shoot off some fireworks because it's their vacation. We don't have to worry about anybody else when it's your vacation, right? That seems to be the mentality around here anyway. I often say to my husband, we're very early birds. We usually get up around 5 is usually the latest. When we were on staycation, we may have slept in until 6 or 6:30 a couple of days, but even that is a rarity. So I like to, once in a while, I'll say to Joe, let's start blowing off air horns and getting in the boat, and not that we have a boat, but, riding around, blasting our music, hooting and hollering at 5:30 in the morning. They think it's okay to do it at 1:30 in the morning. Why can't I do it at 5:30? That's when I'm up. Luckily, I've gotten used to it now, and it doesn't really wake us up the way that it used to. And luckily for us, Tucker does not seem to mind the fireworks. That's a big problem with the fireworks around here. There's so many dogs. It's so typical for dogs to be afraid of fireworks. The noise, it just makes them crazy. I like to think, and I could have just gotten completely lucky, but when I was training Tucker, I had read that when they hear loud noises such as fireworks, thunderstorms, what have you, and they act scared, to not comfort them, which is very difficult. But that reinforces their behavior. You see what I'm saying? So if a thunderstorm's going on and your new puppy starts cuddling up to you, just act like nothing's going on. Just act like nothing is going on. And they will eventually get the message that it's just not a big deal. And they won't be afraid anymore. When I got Tucker, I lived in Philadelphia, and I used to have to walk her up and down the city streets. And there was a lot of SEPTA buses. And you know how they have those automated voices announcing the stops and stuff. Oh, we're coming up on Henry Avenue. Blah, 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 blah. Well, she did not like those announcements. She was petrified of them. And I remember one time, she literally was crawling up my leg. And it was so hard for me to not just scoop her up and say, it's going to be okay. But I didn't. And I think this is one of the reasons why she doesn't react to noise the way most dogs do. So if you're in the process of training or thinking about getting a dog, just keep that in mind. Like I said, very difficult to do. Very difficult not to scoop them up and want to comfort them. But you're going to be in for a dog's lifetime of petrified dog whenever there are fireworks, thunderstorms, what have you, buses going by. I had an odd exchange on Facebook yesterday. I just wanted to mention it briefly. I have been talking a lot about social justice on my own personal Facebook page recently, and I had gotten a comment from a woman I used to work for telling me that I didn't know that first off, let me just say, she posted it on a post that I had put up about getting my hair done, so it really had nothing to do with the post, which was the first odd thing. But she basically told me I had no idea what I was talking about, therefore I should drop this show. Okay, I woke up to that yesterday, and then she followed it up with a sorry, not sorry. So I just, responded back to her and said, I think that you're entitled to your opinion. However, I would never tell you that you don't know what you're talking about, let alone bring your job into it. I went on to ask her if she's even listened to my show, if she knows what it's about. And then she came back with like 5 more posts. Like, she's just one of those people who doesn't want to she doesn't want to have a discussion. She just wants to get her point across and convince you that she's right, which never really works, especially when you're coming at people with anger. So, I let her spew for a little while, and then I just came back and told her that my point of view, basically. And I'm entitled to my point of view just as she's entitled to her point of view. And I tried to answer the questions that she was demanding that I answer. And at the end, I just said, you know what? And now I'm done. So thank you and have a nice day. But she reacted in such anger. It was pretty funny. I had gotten basically the same exact text from my sister and my husband. They sent me a text and said, who the F is this person? I was like, well, it's this person. And they're like, what? Craziness. I also got a number of texts from friends just telling me that I handled the situation well and that the woman was out of line. And I really appreciated that. I really appreciated the backup. And I just wanted to say quickly, it's, we're at a really difficult time right now. And I think it's important for you to speak out. I think it's important for you to say what's on your heart. And it can be very difficult to do that at times. Yesterday being one of those situations. But don't let people deter you from the message that you want to get across. We're talking about Facebook here. If you don't like what I have to say, keep scrolling. And, in fact, I haven't liked what that woman had to say for many, many months now. And I just keep scrolling. Don't let people deter you from the message that you want to send. That's all I'm trying to say. And when you don't come back to people with anger, when you counter them with logic and reason and rationale and calm It actually makes them a little more crazy. But that's the way to have a debate. I'm always open for a discussion about anything, especially with people that disagree with me, because I like to see it from all sides. Also, I would like them to hear my side of it in a little more detail as well. But remember, it's a discussion. It goes back and forth. It's not all about trying to convince the other person that you're right. It's about having a discussion and learning and being open. Just my opinion. Wanted to put that out there. So thank you to those who had a little backup for me yesterday. I truly appreciate it. Like I said, it's very tough times right now. And we're all just trying to make it through. Just trying to get through a Tuesday. The topic for today I decided on because apparently yesterday was National Eclair Day. I am not a big fan of eclairs. Now, my brother loves the tasty cake eclairs. I don't know if he likes, I would assume he likes actual real eclairs if he likes the tasty cake ones. But I wanted to know, what's your favorite dessert? It's always a fun topic, right? Marcy says ice cream. Yeah, that's mine too. My husband chimed in ice cream in all capital letters. And I was like, are you sure? We were actually at the grocery store this week and we went down the ice cream aisle. I'm like, you can go down the ice cream aisle. So he goes down. He's like, no, nothing's on sale. And he starts walking away. I'm like, you can get ice cream if you want, babe. I don't care. He's like, well, all right then. So we actually got a new, apparently limited edition of Nutty Buddy from Friendly's, you know, the half gallons. And it's like a Nutty Buddy cone. Have you ever had the Nutty Buddy cone? I get the king size cones, which is a variation of that, and they're so good. And I really, really enjoyed this. It was vanilla ice cream with fudge swirls and crushed up cone throughout the ice cream. It was yummy. Now I've just got to resist it until it's gone. Denise says that tiramisu, no matter how full you are, it slides right down. Megan says, pretty much all of them. Corinne says cookies, almost any flavor. Kelly says acai bowls. Is that how you say that? Acai bowls? I've never had one. Libby chimes in with ice cream as well. Jim says cherry cheesecake with a graham cracker crust. That was my mother's specialty dessert. And Jim is my cousin, and I know he's referring to my mother's cherry cheesecake with graham cracker crust. I am not a big cheesecake fan. Now, if it's the only thing offered for dessert, I will eat it. Don't get me wrong. But I would much rather have almost anything else, except for maybe key lime pie. Not a fan of key lime pie either. But it depends. Key lime pie is one of those things that tastes drastically different from place to place. I remember the first time I had key lime pie, I was in Florida visiting my aunt and uncle, and I remember loving it there. But I've never had one that tasted quite the same since then. But people love key lime pie. Diane says, number one is chocolate ice cream with peanut butter sauce, whipped cream, and a cherry. Then tasty cakes, chocolate-covered strawberries, chocolate mousse, just to name a few. Okay, thank you, Diane. Elizabeth says, wow, I just had a mini eclair and had no idea it was a special day. Well, there's a little bonus. And Lisa says, I like eclairs or a cannoli. Cannolis are always one of those things where I think I'm going to like them. They always look really good to me because I see all that white cream and I'm like, oh, that looks so good. But it's not as sweet as I prefer. You know what's really good? Cream puffs. When's the last time you had a cream puff? They sell those little frozen ones. My sister-in-law gets them often. Get the little frozen ones, and then she'll put them all out on a platter, put some powdered sugar on top, and we just wait for them to thaw. And I just look at them, and look at them, and look at them. And I'm like, are they thawed yet? What do you think? Are they thawed yet? I'm ready to dig in. You know, it's kind of like the Twinkie cream. Oh, my favorite. I love it. I just love it. On to the blog post for today as we continue to talk about gratitude. Yesterday, I was talking about the gratitude journal. A lot of people find that difficult. That's why I was trying to simple it down for you. Hopefully, I was able to do that. For a pessimist, though, gratitude can be quite difficult. I know I've been there more times than I would like to admit. I know a lot of the things that I say sometimes, if you're a true pessimist like I was, you're just like, yeah, whatever. It can be changed. You can change your mindset. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So this is the time when you can focus on just one thing. If you can find just one thing in your life to be grateful for, that can set you on the right path. We tend to think that there's nothing good about our lives at times, but if we take the time to examine it, there's always something to be thankful for. Now, let's start with realizing how much we take for granted. I bring this up often because we take so much for granted. If you have a house, food on the table, and utilities, you already have more than the majority of the world. If you have a job and a car, then wow, you really are not in that bad of shape. No matter how you feel about what you have in your life, these are things to be truly grateful for. You can start there, or you can find one thing that you absolutely love and focus on that. When I was 30, I went through a breakup with someone I had been dating for the past 2 years. I was convinced we were going to get married. So I was not only distraught over the end of that relationship, but I made it so much worse for myself because I thought I was worthless since I was 30 and not married. In my mind, it meant no one wanted me. I was in a bad place. It was a tough time. But it was right around this time when I actually moved into my favorite apartment. I just moved to a different place in the same neighborhood. I was finally making a little money, and I threw it all into decorating this place. It was the cutest little place. In fact, I lived there at 2 different times. I loved this place so much that when I moved back from the Jersey Shore, when I left that place, I moved to the Jersey Shore, and then I went right back to that same apartment complex when I came back in 2006. Now, I was lucky to find one of the apartments was available at that time because it was a very small place. There was like 18 units. But like I said, I spent some money on making it look nice. I bought a lot of curtains and wall hangings and pictures. It was my first real foray into interior design, for myself. And I was pretty pleased with the results. I would just sit on my couch and look around at what I had done. I would take it all in and feel proud. I would just look at it and be happy with what I'd done and how great it looked. It was something good to focus on. And my love of decorating grew from there. And you never know how these things are going to pan out for you. I'm always been pretty proud of my home. This house is a little different. I just don't have a lot of wall space here. We have 2 sliding glass doors that overlook the water, which I am not sad about whatsoever. But it leaves a lot. It leaves very little space to decorate. And then another wall that we have a gigantic fishing map that is the coolest map you will ever see. Again, not sad, but takes up an entire wall, another place we can't really decorate. So I don't feel like this is as decorated as some of the places I've had in the past, but my condo, and I will tell you this, I'm about 75% sure the reason that our condos sold as fast as it did, because nobody's condos were selling at that time, was because I made it look really nice. This is why staging a home is such a big business now, because if you can make it look nice, if you can put a pretty picture in the mind of the buyer, they're more likely to buy it. After we had moved down here, we had sold our condo very quickly in like 5 days, we were all very shocked at. I didn't think I was going to sell it at all, let alone get the asking price, which was higher than most of them had been getting at the time, which is why I didn't think we would get it. About 6 months after we had moved down here, an old neighbor of mine in the condo complex had called me, and she goes, "You have to tell me how you sold your house. My house has been on the market for 6 months, and I have not had one offer." I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. My place was nice. I don't know what your place looked like. But yeah, I love decorating and all of that. I don't have a lot of room here. That's okay. I just look outside. So when you're feeling low and you have, you feel like you have nothing to be happy about in your life, look for one thing. Just one thing. It's summer right now. There's so much more we can do in the warm weather. I mentioned yesterday I went on my first kayaking adventure of the season. I always forget how much I enjoy it until I'm out there. And this is one of the things I still have to push myself to do because, the prep, getting everything ready and putting the kayak in the water, it's all kind of a pain in the butt. Same with the cleanup and getting it back out. But, it's worth the work. I usually take it easy on my first ride, but I went pretty far with my neighbor the other day. I was worried I'd be tired or sore, but I really wasn't. Thanks to making my workout a non-negotiable 3 days a week. Now I can't wait to get back out there. It's definitely something I love till I get a real boat, that is. Let's talk about coffee for a minute. How much do you love coffee? If you really, truly love coffee, make that something you focus on. Can you experiment with some flavors? Blueberry cobbler, I'm telling you, delicious. Make some different varieties at home, or maybe find a coffee place out that you really like. Coffee out is very expensive anymore, but if you got a little money to invest in it, make that your one thing. And then when you have your coffee, you sit down, you focus on your coffee, and you be mindful of every sip that you take. Look at your surroundings as you're drinking your coffee. Take it all in. And just be thankful. Just be grateful. So when you find that one thing that you love, put all your focus on it. Put all your energy into that. Look forward to it. Relish it. Embrace it with the enthusiasm of a 4-year-old on Christmas morning. Once you start being truly grateful for one thing, others will follow. And it will be easier to work more gratitude into your life. It is Tuesday. Will you be having a taco today? So go ahead and find that one thing. If it's more, that's great. If you can find more than one thing, I applaud you. But one is enough to start. So are you ready? Let's go do this. Be our badass selves. And remember, I'm always cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Coffee.